my beloved Mark 5 Escort. It's been up and down the country this whole year at events and shows, but now I think it's time for a little bit of a change. No, the car's not getting sold, but I'm going to be doing a full respray on the whole car. The car's very clean for its age, but I feel like there's no better time than now to give it a bit of work. So here is part 1 of restoring my Ford Escort. I've never been a huge fan of the original textured bumpers that came on my Escort, so in part 1 of this series I'm going to be painting and fitting a set of RS2000 bumpers. So while I was waiting on the bumpers being delivered, I removed the original front bumper. So it's a few days later and the front bumper replacement is here for the Escort, and there it is, a Mark 5 RS2000 front bumper. So you'll have seen from the clips there, it needs a bit of work, new indicator and obviously a paint job to match the colour of the Escort, but I can do all that. So that is the plan with this front bumper, but I'm going to test fit it up now and see how it looks. So the front bumper's sorted on the car, it's no fitted at the sides and there's a couple of bolts missing for the main points in there. I just can't get it on, to be honest with you, but that's going to look so smart once it's all done to the right colour. But I'm liking that so far.
The next morning.
Here is a close-up look at the bumper. It's all cracked, but it's the original paint, which is good. So all I needed to do now was rub it and then prime it. So, bumper's all rubbed, I've mixed up some primer and we're going to smash it on. So what I'm going to be doing here is putting 3 heavy coats of primer over the whole bumper, just to give plenty of coverage over the old damaged paint. After I'd put 3 coats of primer on, this is what the bumper was looking like. A nice eggshell finish, perfect for rubbing. So the primer's now rubbed that I'd put onto my bumper. Looks really good, it's nice and smooth now. I've put the trim back in. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. There's a bit of damage on it and I can always replace it. So I'll leave that now, but the actual bumper itself is ready. Had to rub a wee bit of damage out of there, but I can go over that with a bit of aerosol before I paint it. But it's looking good. So the back bumper replacement has just arrived for my Escort and it's came with a really nice sticker. But it's a back bumper for an RS2000. And by the next morning I went into work early and managed to get the back bumper primed. So the bumper has since been primed. I'm just rubbing it now with 320 and then I'm going to 500 it and then I'm going to wet sand it just because I'll be painting it with solvent. So I'm getting there now, I'm just going to hand rub it. So I've got the bucket, I've got some 1200 grit there and I'm just going to give it a wet sand. I've just finished wet sanding the bumper, started with 1200 and finished it with 2000 and that is smooth as anything. That should be perfect for the solvent paint. But obviously there's a few rub throughs in that, but I'll just aerosol over those bits and it'll be fine. But aye, happy with that. So we'll get this done in the morning hopefully.
The next day.
So I've got both the bumpers prepped and into the spray booth ready for paint. Just going to give them a blow off, panel wipe and then tack them off and we'll get the first coat of paint on. So because it's a solvent base coat you mix it 2 to 1 with Max Mere thinner because obviously it's Max Mere paint. But we'll get this mixed and then into the gun. That's one coat on both the bumpers. The coverage seems to be alright, and it's looking good so far. After the first layer of base coat had dried, I was trying to get as clean a job as possible, so I was repeating the same process after each coat. So what I'm using there is a tack rag, which is a sticky cloth that takes any little bits of dirt out of the paint so that you don't get trapped under each coat of base. Managed to get decent coverage with 2 coats of the solvent base coat. Usually you need about 3 or 4, but 2 was fine for that, so we'll get on the lacquer. Mixing the lacquer now. Now it's time for my first coat of lacquer, which is the stuff that makes the paint shiny. So let's get it on. After letting the first coat of lacquer dry, it's now time for the second and final coat of lacquer. This is where I need to try and get the best finish possible. So the bumpers have just come off the bake and they look amazing. Finish is pretty good, like there's obviously a few dirt nibs in the paint and all that, but not enough flattening polish when they get out. But they look brilliant. Really happy with them. And a few days later, it was time to fit the new bumpers onto my Escort. Since I had already removed the old front bumper, all I had to do was take off the grille and loosen the headlights. I thought this would make it easier and give me more room. And while looking at the front end, you can see just how clean all the crash bar and slam panel are. So I've run into a bit of a problem with this bolt on the headlight. I can't get onto the bolt with the setup that I've got. I've not got an extension with me, and that 3/8 doesn't get in there either, so rivet. So it's just spinning, which isn't great, but you still get a lot of movement on the headlight just to get under it, hopefully, and that should be enough. Indicators are out and grill is off, so hopefully that should be enough. And the next half an hour was spent struggling to fit the front bumper. Right, so we're getting there now. The bumper's mounted on. I just need to put the indicators on and the grille back in. And that is it. The front bumper is on. I've got one side of the indicator and fog lights in. The other side was cracked when it arrived, so I'm going to get a new set for there. But that looks absolutely minted. I'm aware the colour match to the wing and bonnet isn't amazing, but that's 32-year-old paint and that's 2023 paint, so once the rest of the car's done it'll look minted. But I'm missing the little black trim that goes around the front bumper. That's still at my work because I'd removed it to paint it obviously, but wow. Now it's time to switch over the back bumper. The rest of the bumper's been stripped. All the bolts are out on this side, mud flaps off and all that, so that can literally just pull off. But I've had a bit of a faff here with a mud flap. Look at these here. I think they might be Allen keys like, but they're pretty rotten. So I'll try and get them off with the Allen keys again, but if not, they'll be getting grinded off or drilled off or something so we can get the rest of the bumper off. So there's the old back bumper off. Pretty clean back here. There's just a wee bit of rust on each corner, but it's just surface. That's actually solid there, just needs grinded off. Same on this side. It's just that bit there, really. But the rest of it under there is very clean. So I'll clean this up and then we'll get the new back bumper on. Luckily I had a little help from my dad to fit the back bumper. This made it 10 times easier to put on. And that is the back bumper fully fitted. Oh my god, man. Looks totally different. Again with the colour match, it's totally different, but the rest of the car's all paint. Look at that, man. So obviously it's the exact same shapy bumper that we just took off the car, but it's not textured, it's painted. And the only difference is that it gets a big splitter along the bottom for the RS2000. Obviously it has the exhaust cut out as well, so I need to get a big exhaust. But we'll get that on at a later date, but that looks amazing. This won't be the bumpers on the car for good, like, these will be coming back off to deal with the rest of the car, but for now it's nice to see them on and it's a safe space to keep them. And just before I go, I was looking at the front end and look at how aggressive that looks now compared to the old bumper, which was just still textured plastic. That looks insane. I really like that. So that's the RS2000 bumper, it's all painted and on the car. The car looks totally different now, it looks so sporty along the front end. I am looking for a front indicator for the bumper because it was cracked before, so if anybody's got one of them, please message me or comment on the video. I'm needing one of them for this side, which is the passenger side. But that's part one complete on restoring the Escort. I can't wait for the next part. I'm not quite sure when it's going to be yet, it's just whenever I get the chance to work on the car. So if you did enjoy this part one, please like this video, comment down below and subscribe to the channel if you're new or you're watching my videos and you're not subscribed. I'll see you guys in the next part. Bye!